Yo, what's up, everybody? So, quick one today, and it's about kind of having faith in the program. This one is kind of geared toward, well, I mean, it's for all types of people, right? But I think it's more geared to people who recently came across it, and I kind of been seeing this pop up a little bit as of late, and I totally understand why people feel this way. But you know, when people come across a nutritional balancing program, like, I think they'll kind of get it at a very fundamental level. It's like biochemistry, fix it with mineral balancing, get these toxins out. It takes a lot of time to do so, and once you do that, like, health is wealth, baby. You know, like, you're gonna be on track for something like that, and people kind of get that or whatever, right? However, that being said, it's also it's sort of unconventional in a lot of ways. Like, it's not mainstream information. So, like, when you grow up for, let's just say, 30 years and you're just, like, fed this mainstream info or whatever, you know, you really get into the habit of questioning, you know, some of the tenets of the program. And, you know, I definitely encourage the concept of questioning everything. I mean, even Dr. Wilson encourages that or whatever, right? But there are certain points in times when, like, a leap of faith is essentially required. At least I feel this way. A leap of faith is essentially required to get to the next level. You know what I mean? Now, there's some people out there that are so sick where, you know, there's like an on-ramp that's very slow. And I get that, and I totally respect that, because it is a lot. And you just throw your body, you know, down the wind tunnel, you're going to get wrecked. And, you know, we don't want that or whatever, right? But, you know, there are these kind of tension and release points that kind of occur. At least I see it that way, where, like, you know, you're kind of thinking about adding a new component to the program, but you're worried because of this. And then eventually you kind of have to, what do they say, go through the fire. You know, you kind of have to walk through the fire a little bit there, right? But from what I've seen, from what I've experienced, from who I've talked to, from even when I was first starting in the initial research that I did, it always seems to work. You know what I mean? It always seems to work, because, again, what we're solving is root issues. You know, it's like the underlying issues. You know, it reminds me when I went to the doctor and they were talking about the inflammation in my wrists, tendinitis, and, you know, they just wanted to give me like an ibuprofen, a glorified ibuprofen or whatever. And, like, you know, this is before I was even 100% tuned into any of this kind of stuff. And I was just like, that doesn't make any sense. Like, it's not going to fix the problem. It's just going to, like, kind of cover it up or whatever, right? And so, you know, a lot of medicines or a lot of things we do are symptomatic in nature, meaning, like, they'll kind of suppress the feelings of the symptoms. But at some point in time, you know, you got to kind of bite the bullet and, you know, go in there and try to solve the root cause, which probably means, like, I've heard them called crutches before, like the things that you kind of use to get you by, like, day to day or whatever. Like CBD oil would be like a good example. A lot of people use that, I think, to, like, go to sleep at night. It gives them calming things, whatever, you know what I mean? And it might be appropriate at points in time, but eventually it's kind of a crutch of sorts. And it would be nice if you could just have that feeling of calm. If you could just go into that feeling of calmness naturally, almost like we're designed to do. It's just so hard to do nowadays because the bodies are sick, and you know, these toxins affect the way we just think, act, and feel, right, in a lot of ways. So anyway, like I said, you know, it's always a safety first kind of thing, where I don't want anybody just, like, dive all in. You know, there's definitely the concept of weaning off what you're doing and weaning on to the program in more of its entirety. But at the same time, you know, and it can be scary and I get it, but there are these leaps of faith that you kind of have to make, and, like, you kind of do have to walk through the fire a little bit to make it to the other side. And it's not always fun, and it's not always easy, you know. But again, I'm talking from my personal experience, and then just people I've talked to, and testimonials I've read, and videos I've watched, and just, like, the cumulative of the experience. It just seems to be that there's hope, and you'll make it. You know, you really will. And, like, there's people who've had it way worse than I've had. There's people who've had to go to the hospital at night, you know what I mean, multiple times during some of their worst detox episodes, you know what I mean? And those people had the faith to keep on trucking, you could say, on the program. And now they're in a great spot, you know what I mean? But imagine how hard that would be if something like that happened to you, and you really, you know, your feet really held to the fire, You know what I mean? But you kept persisting and it worked out. So anyway, just kind of throwing that out there because, like I said, I've seen some people get kind of all over the place on certain things about the program, and like I said, I understand that. In a lot of ways, I can relate to that. So I just kind of wanted to say, like, you know, here's something I've seen, here's something I've experienced, and I think there's a good bit of truth to this level of faith, or these episodes of faith that eventually occur with everybody, and they're scary, and I get it, but, you know, I'm just trying to tell you that, you know, there's a lot of people out there who have come out on the other side and they're better off. So anyway, just throwing it out there. Hope all y'all have a good day, and God bless.